What's up everybody, I'm Tristan.
And I'm Emma.
And we're going to be your tour guides through the world's most livable city.
Vienna, Austria. We just finished an amazing 4 days in Vienna, and whether you're planning a trip, maybe you just want to see the world through our eyes, we're here to show you what there is to do and see.
So we recommend roughly 3 days in Vienna. We found that might be the most optimal time to see all the sights, all the attractions. So we based this video off of a rough 3-day itinerary that we put together. However, if you are staying for shorter or longer, feel free to take our suggestions and mold them to whatever fits your needs.
Upon arriving in a new city, you'll likely want to get acquainted with the lay of the land. Follow us to the city center, which is located on Graben Street. You'll likely want to start your day with a cup of coffee at one of the many cafes that line the city center. From that main square, make your way to St. Stephen's Cathedral, one of Vienna's most famous pieces of architecture. Entrance to the cathedral is free. After that, you'll maybe want to wander around the streets of Vienna, popping into art galleries, and if your budget allows it, partaking in some of the high-end shopping that Vienna has to offer.
Once you finish shopping in all those designer stores, you can strut on over in your new Gucci shoes over to the Hofburg Palace, which is the main residence and workplace of the Austrian president. There you'll see horse and carriages lined up, and you can end your first day with a small city tour or a big city tour, which we did in 2017 on our first trip to Vienna. It's beautiful. The guy who drives the carriage kind of gives you a bunch of background information about the city. It is a little bit pricey, so we decided not to do it this time. However, it's an awesome way to see the city and is very romantic too. So it's your second day in a new city, and chances are you woke up excited and eager to see more. Today we're going to take you over to the MuseumsQuartier, which is one of the largest cultural quarters in the world. It houses over a half a dozen museums, ranging from a kids museum to a museum of contemporary art, a modern art museum, natural history, and so many more. Last time in 2017, we went to the Museum of Modern Art, which we loved. And this time we spent about 3 hours at the Natural History Museum, which was only €7 for if you have a student ID, and €12 if you purchased an adult ticket. One of the most interesting things I found about the museum wasn't the exhibits necessarily. It was the architecture, which was inspired by a lot of different time periods, but mostly from the Renaissance period. So make sure when you're there, you appreciate the building itself and not just the exhibits. I loved the Natural History Museum, and it was a huge surprise considering we were planning on going to another museum, but that one happened to be closed. It was a Monday. So we spent about 3 hours there, and they had exhibits on human history, dinosaurs, every mammal, reptile, bird, insects, and even meteorites. We highly recommend it if you're visiting Vienna and trying to decide between which museum to go to.
After walking, standing, and taking in so much new information, you've likely worked up an appetite. Not to worry, head over to Naschmarkt. Naschmarkt is about 1.5 kilometer long open air market. It's been in Vienna since the 16th century and is home to about 120 independent vendors. You can find everything from fresh produce to meats, cheeses, seafood, clothing, accessories, spices, and even a few bars and restaurants there if you want to sit down and eat. Another thing Vienna is known for is its operas. The Vienna Opera House is located just close to that MuseumsQuartier, so if you want to end day 2 here, feel free. If you weren't lucky enough to book your tickets months in advance, you might be able to show up just about an hour before showtime for some cheap standing tickets. If you're even luckier, you might be able to catch a free showing of that night's opera, which is shown outside. There's benches, lots of people gathered there. We were able to just stop there one night, catch a few minutes, and that was pretty much enough for us. But if opera is something you're interested in, the Vienna Opera House is definitely a must.
So maybe you ended day 2 at the Vienna Opera House, or maybe you were too exhausted after spending the afternoon at a museum and then gorging at Naschmarkt. Either way, you're gonna have to get ready for a packed third day.
Get your walking shoes on because we are venturing just outside the city center today. We're gonna start at Belvedere Palace, which we actually stayed just next door to it in an Airbnb, so for us it wasn't a lot of walking. But either way, Belvedere Palace is home to a museum with lots of international art exhibits, beautiful gardens, waterfalls, and you can definitely get a nice picture with that Belvedere Palace in the background. After that, we're gonna walk about just less than a mile over to the Hundertwasser house, which we actually stumbled upon by accident, but it's a really interesting architecture which was created to combine urban living and nature. So you'll definitely want to see that. After that, you're going to want to head over to Kunsthaus, which actually means art house, which was done by the same architect as the Hundertwasser house. We opted not to pay for that museum since we saw a lot at the Natural History Museum. And then after that, we're going to head over to an amusement park.
So from Kunsthaus, we're gonna head over to Prater Park. We can either walk the 2 miles or you can purchase a one-way metro pass for €2.40. Prater Park is something that we didn't get a chance to visit the last time we were here, and when we went this time, we wondered why we didn't come sooner. It was definitely one of the highlights during our stay in Vienna. This public park contains one of the most iconic landmarks in Vienna, the Prater Wheel. Within the amusement park itself, you'll find arcade games and booths, roller coasters, merry-go-rounds, beer gardens, and plenty of authentic and affordable Viennese cuisine. Entry to this park is free, but attractions range between €1.50 and €8 depending on the type of ride. It's open 7 days a week. We went on a couple rides and realized we couldn't hang like we used to, leaving slightly more nauseous than when we arrived.
You might want to end your last night in Vienna with something special, whether that be some fine dining in the city center, one of Vienna's many wine bars, or our favorite spot, which is Crossfield's Australian Pub. They have a happy hour every day from 4 to 6 p.m. and then a reverse happy hour from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. If you do go there, look for our US dollar hanging on the ceiling, marked with a T and E from Arizona, USA.
Just directly when you walk in. So, we hope you've had an absolute blast exploring and learning about a new city. However, if you do have more time, or if you're staying a few days longer, then we suggest the following. The Danube Tower, which is the tallest structure in Austria, gives you a panoramic view of the country. It's €14.50 to enter and is located across the Danube River. It's quite a ways outside of the city center, so we suggest either taking the metro or renting some bikes to get there.
One museum we recommend seeing that's not in the MuseumsQuartier is the Sigmund Freud Museum. Whether you're into psychology or not, Sigmund Freud was the founder of psychoanalysis, and so this museum will prove interesting, as this is actually where Sigmund Freud lived and practiced in his earlier years. We didn't get a chance to visit it this time, as it is located a little further from many of the other attractions we've mentioned, but we did get to go there in 2017. Next, if you're getting a little sick of the hustle and bustle of the city, make your way to one of Vienna's many parks. We recommend grabbing some snacks, maybe some wine, stuff from Naschmarkt, and a blanket, and heading there for an afternoon picnic. You can find the Johann Strauss statue at Prater Park or the Mozart statue at Burggarten. These are also great places to go for a morning jog if you're in need of some exercise. You might find yourself getting hungry walking from site to site. Do not fear. You can find a Wiener Würstel stand on almost any corner in Vienna, selling authentic Vienna sausages. These stands are constantly packed any time of day with locals and tourists alike. They're nice and cheap. You'll find people standing around enjoying sausages, beers, sodas, you name it.
Yeah, no trip to Vienna is complete without a sausage from a Wiener Würstel stand. All right, guys, we enjoyed being your tour guides through the beautiful city of Vienna. We hope this sparked some inspiration in your travel planning, or maybe you just watched this video to check out our highlights. Either way, we thank you for watching.
If you'd like to see more videos, be sure to like and subscribe. And if there's something we missed in Vienna, be sure to let us know in the comments below.
And remember,
you're always exactly where you need to be.